Welcome everybody to part 2 of powering up through your legs and your torso and then letting it all go. So this is actually about stress and trauma release. So if you imagine your body is just a vehicle, just like a car, and if you prang your car, it creates damage. And sometimes, I don't know if you've ever had one of these knocks in a car, you get a little bit of a bumper knock, and then you get to mechanics and it turns out that the chassis also needs to be done. So there's the superficial damage that we get, and then there's the deeper damage that we get from not just physical impact, but emotional impact and mental impact that creates trauma in our body's cells. And the natural way for the body to release trauma is to shake, to sigh, to cry. And unfortunately, we live in a society that tells you not to do all those things. Calm down, get yourself together, stop crying. You know, the usual things that we hear sometimes. So we're going to purposefully get our legs to shake, and that'll be towards the end. Or you might find that you need to shake beforehand, and that's fine. We're actually going to start standing for this class. So let's come to standing. And then we'll work our way down, and then we'll get to the point where the legs start to shake. Okay, so just bring your feet directly underneath the hips. Let's just start by bringing our attention inwards. Take a deep breath in, eyes closed. Exhale with a sigh. And again. Lovely, and once more. Bring one hand to the center of the chest. I want you to breathe into the center of the chest. So visualize a ball of energy there. And this is the driver of the body vehicle. So sometimes it's called a body vehicle, sometimes it's called the gravity suit. So the gravity suit because it holds the soul in place in the earthly plane. Or I like the one that's a little bit more visceral, the meat suit. Okay, so inside of you is this energy that is, some people might call it soul, some people might call it divine light. May the force be with you, whatever your word is for that awareness within you. Just connect to it. And as you connect to that energy within you at the heart space, be aware of observing the physical vehicle. So the bones, the muscles, the sinews, the emotions, and the thoughts. So you're the awareness observing all of that. And we'll touch on that more deeply at the end of class. Lovely. Bring the hands to the side of the body. So I'm going to start with a double inhale and a big sigh out. So you're going to go inhale, inhale, hold it in, inhale, inhale, Lovely. Now we're going to just slow it down. So just one long breath in. We're going to breathe in for a count of 6. Breathe in nice and slowly. Notice the natural pause at the top of the breath, and then exhale for 6. Notice the natural pause at the end of the breath out. Keep going. So just use a count of 6 to start with. Lovely. Increase the count to 7. Lovely. And finally, breathing in and out for 8. So remember, we're not necessarily breathing in for more. We're actually breathing in more slowly. So there's this direct link. Scientifically, this has been proven now, even though the yogis knew about it thousands of years ago, that when we breathe in particular rhythms, it directly affects our mind, our emotions, our mental state. So slowing things down, so the mind is less erratic. So the yogis in the second sutra of Patanjali say, Yoga Chittavrita Nirodhahe, which means yoga is the stilling of the mind. And when we still the mind, we realize our true nature. One more breath. Lovely. Take your feet a little bit wider. And literally, I want you to just move from side to side. Keep the knees bent. Take the movement into the ankles. So start to roll from side to side. So we're going to just start to fatigue the ankle area. So when you do this type of movement, we're looking, if you imagine that the body scale is 0 is, I'm feeling absolutely fine, thanks. And 10 is, I'm so exhausted, I can't move. This is what we want to do with the muscles. We need to get to about 7. So we bring some fatigue into the muscles to allow them to release the trauma and the stress that we hold on a cellular level. So just moving from side to side. Go a little bit lower. Good, now shake both ankles and then really let go of sometimes it's quite hard to let go of the foot because we hold a lot of tension there. Actually, stand on one leg and see if you can really shake the foot. Really let go of it, then the other one. Surprisingly hard, isn't it? To just let go of the control. Okay, lovely. Okay, so I'm just going to show you from the side. So I'm just going to bring a bit more movement into the calf muscles. So inhale, come up onto the tiptoes. Exhale, lower. Inhale, tiptoes. Exhale, lower. Maybe go a bit higher with the arms. Good, now we're going to take it into one foot. So bring your attention into the right leg and lift the left foot. So it's just slightly off the floor. Arms out to the side to just protect the balance. Lifting up, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. So work out where you need to put the other foot. So mine's better in the front. So we're starting to fatigue the calf muscle now. Lift as high as you can. Stay as balanced as you can. And when you think you've got to about 7, So I think another 4 for me. And then it's telling me it's enough. We're going to shake. So shake it out. Lovely. Other side. So pick up the right leg, either front or back, wherever it feels more balanced for you, and then lift yourself up and down. So you're coming up onto the left toes. Surprisingly challenging. So if you're at home, grab a chair or put your hand on a wall. Lovely, and release, give it a shake. Well done. Feet nice and wide. So we're going to work into the thighs. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, come down. Inhale. Exhale. How are we feeling? Where are we? We're still on 0? Are we closer to a 6? Lovely, release, shake out. And really shake. Lovely, now turn the mats so they're in the same plane as mine, so it's easy for you to follow. Take the feet reasonably wide. So we're going to just create a little bit of fatigue in the torso muscles. Bring the hands into the lower back. Push the pelvis forwards, lift the gaze. Pull the tummy muscles in. I want you to start to feel a little bit of a tremor. So it's not that important how far you go back, but that you go back to a point where you're really using the stomach muscles. Breathe nice and deep. So when I feel my body starting to do a very deep tremor, so it's not a huge movement, it's almost like, you know, in the old cowboy films, when you used to hear the cows coming when they were herding the cows, and you'd get that little, and then it got louder and louder and louder. That's the kind of, in my head, it might not be in your head, but that's the only way I can describe it. So just, it's like a stampede of energy, and it's just getting louder. Are we all starting to have a little bit of a tremor? Good, now turn to the right. Keep the breath nice and steady. Notice on the exhale, there's more tremoring happening. Lovely, change directions. Pivot back to center, fold forwards. Okay, use the bricks if you need to. So if you struggle to get your hands comfortably to the floor, use bricks. Take your feet a little bit wider, and we're going to hold. Really press into the outer edges of the feet. Use the breath. Nice long exhalation. Lovely. Now use the bricks if you need to. I want you to walk your hands over to the right. Keep the toes facing forwards to start with. So really stretching through those key energy lines in the outer edge of the leg, but also the left side of the rib cage. So feel the stretch. You know, really use the brick for support if you need to get into a deeper stretch. Feel the effort required by the muscles in this position, especially the outer edge of the ankle and the side of the calf. Lovely. Walk your hands all the way over the other side. Use a brick if you need to. So even if you've got flexibility, sometimes a brick can be really helpful because it draws the torso further around. Lovely. Back to center. Use the brick here if you need to. Bend one knee, keep the other leg straight, and then go from side to side. So just repeating, going reasonably fast, a little bit faster than we normally would. So we're just sort of trying to fatigue the inner leg muscles here. Good. Now bend the right knee. Draw yourself round to the right. Bring the feet with you this time. Drop the back knee. Take the toes back. And slide the back knee as far back as you can without compromising the sacrum. And feel the stretch at the top of the thigh. Bring your hands to the inner edge. Good, and just wherever it feels right for you. So we've all got different body proportions. So feel where you need to place the hands for you to get the stretch at the top of the thigh. So I'm going to show you from the front. So for me, and it'll be different for everybody, I like to come to the side And then I like to lean this leg out slightly, so I'm moving into the right hip. Have a little bit of a rock from side to side. Just really feeling that deep stretch into the left thigh, possibly the outer right hip. Lovely. Now let's draw the torso up. I want you to just concentrate on the left thigh and this band of energy. So this is the psoas muscle that runs approximately top of the thigh through the pelvis to the back of the body and attaches into the thoracic vertebrae. And I want you to extend the left arm and stretch. So imagine that you're lengthening this band of energy. So the psoas muscle is where we hold a lot of emotional trauma. When we're impacted either physically, emotionally, or mentally, it contracts, but it doesn't release unless it's physically released. So breathe into it. Really reach up. Imagine this big rubber band being stretched. Lovely, and release. Okay, we're gonna wiggle our way around to the other side. Start the process again. So this time, take the right knee as far back as you can, so you're feeling a stretch on the right thigh. And then hands wherever feels right for you to start to move into that stretch. So you can rock from side to side, you can let the left knee roll with it, so it starts to open the left hip. And you might find that for you, in order to get the ultimate stretch at the top of the thigh, you actually need to tuck the toe on the back foot and bring the knee off the floor. For me, that doesn't work. I get a better stretch with the knee down. Use the breath in and out. Use the exhalation to visualize the muscles releasing, letting go of all those secrets that they hold on to that create trauma in our lives. Lovely. Now, bring yourself to upright. So you feel a good stretch. So for some people, a good stretch might look like that. It might be much shorter because you're very tight in the quads. Okay, so whatever feels safe for your sacrum. A deep stretch sometimes doesn't work. Extend the arm. Visualize that massive elastic band. Stretch it as far as you can. Use the breath, especially the exhale. If you find in this position you get an overwhelming desire to sigh out, then let the breath come out from the mouth. Maybe you feel a block around the solar plexus, maybe the center of the chest, the heart space. Just a couple more breaths. Lovely, release. Come back to center. Back into wide leg forward fold. Hold. Use the bricks if you need to. Good, really press the sit bones back. Press into the heels, lift the toes, so the soles of the feet stay on the floor, but the toes are lifting, so using Padabandha, so that the base of the foot stays on the floor, it's just the toes that lift. And this draws the energy of the earth upwards into the legs. Lovely, we're going to turn to the right again. This time we're going to add in some extra fatigue to the thigh muscle, bring the back leg off the floor, move up and down. Use a brick if you need to give yourself extra height. So up and down, just working on that front leg. The back leg's just held in place. When you think you've got to 7, I'm almost there. Then release, step back, stretch that front leg. Use the bricks here if you struggle to straighten that front leg, then use the bricks. Okay, just pushing back that right sit bone. Good, let's have a sigh out. Okay, let's walk over to the left. Start the movement to the left leg, up and down. Again, when you feel, you go, wow, yee, then step back, take your bricks, stretch it out. Good, let's walk ourselves around again. Wide leg forward fold. Let's take movements from side to side again. Use the bricks if you need more height. We're going to take some movement into the thoracic, so turn, drop the back knee. Stages, left hand down, right hand into the sacrum. That might be enough for your back. Or bring the left elbow across, palms into reverse prayer. Now really rotate. Lovely, release. Go around the other way, do the same action. Knee down, right hand to the floor, left hand to the sacrum. That might be enough. Or go into the full reverse. Really let the action squeeze the upper body muscles. Lovely, release. Lovely, so this is a little bit ungainly tonight. Come back down. So we're now going to go into the sequence that starts the tremors. So if at any point you find that you're really tremoring, so sometimes it'll just start in the legs and you'll feel a little bit of a herd coming towards you, and then it might get quite big, and then it might come all the way up the body. If at any point it feels overwhelming, this is the stop button. You just straighten your legs. So bend the knees. In fact, let's start with some bridge just to work the glutes. So hands overhead. Okay, so we're going to repeat the movement rapidly, but I want you to keep the breath nice and smooth. So pushing up, lowering, pushing up. So the breath doesn't go with the movement in this case. And what I want you to do is to not let the bottom touch the floor, which means that the muscles are constantly working. So we're not giving them the opportunity to rest. Up and down. Just a couple more. Lovely. Release. Ooh. Okay, soles of the feet together. If you find that the arm position gets too much because the shoulders are tight, then just bring the hands to the side instead. We're going to now hold, but we're going to try and keep the knees as wide as possible, soles of the feet together. Push up. Breathe nice and deeply. A few more breaths. Lovely. Now release. Let the feet go, the knees, go as wide as possible. Breathe to the belly. And again, if you feel like it's almost like a bubble of energy sometimes starts to release, then let it sigh it out. If you've had a difficult day, feel into those emotions that you've stored, let them out. Okay, now we're going to bring tension into the leg muscles again. Bring the knees up about 2 inches and hold. Notice there may be a slight tremoring. It's almost like you're slowly turning the volume up, and you're asking your body to speak to you, to say what it needs to release. So listen to it. Lovely. Now let's bring the knees in another 2 inches. So what is interesting is if you're the sort of person who has done a lot of controlling in order to not feel emotions, sometimes this shaking is quite challenging because you almost want to control it and stop it. So just really try and let go of that automatic response and just let the body do its thing. Breathe deep. Feel that herd of cattle coming closer. It's getting a bit noisier, a bit louder. Lovely. Now take them up another 2 inches so they're not right next to each other. The soles of the feet are still touching. Just let the tremors happen. You might find that the tremors start to move further up into the pelvis, near the top of the pubic bone. So this is the body's natural response to release and shake off. You know, like you see a dog that gets into water and then has a great shake and you get that amazing spread of water coming off their coat. Well, dogs also shake when they're stressed. So do cats, because they just allow their bodies to do what it needs to do. So just let it happen. We are mammals after all. Okay, now bring them as close as you can without touching. Lovely, now separate again 2 inches. Just a little bit more, so you're coming outwards again. Another 2. So don't let them open as far as you can. We've got to just hold that tension in the muscles. Lovely. Now bring the soles of the feet to the floor, knees bent, and just bring the feet a little bit further away from you and relax everything and let them shake. So find where they want to shake. So it'll be different for everybody because of the length of the leg, the length of the muscles, the psoas muscle. So you might find the feet need to be wider. Maybe they need to be further away, but just let the muscles do their thing. Just let them involuntarily shake. And you might find that they kind of get into a rhythm and then the pelvis starts to go and then it comes up the top of the body. Shake it off. Experiment with the foot position. Further in, further away. Maybe the heels are in line with the sit bones. Maybe they're a bit wider. Notice where you can get the most shaking release. Breathe nice and deep. Remember to sigh out if there's a big bubble of emotional energy coming up from the solar plexus. You might find that, especially if you're working at home and you feel that you're able to, you might find that you need to cry. And remember, if at any point it gets too much, you just straighten the legs and it stops the shaking. So we're just going to let the body shake for a little bit more. Lovely. 2 more breaths. Lovely. Now straighten out the legs. And just notice the energy that's coursing through not just the legs, but the whole body. So what we're doing is we're freeing up the denser energies, so emotions that we hold on to, such as anger, fear, guilt, shame, all of those emotions that we can be made to be felt by other people. They're quite heavy density emotions. Let them go. You might find the body still wants to shake a little bit, and just let it shake. You might get a bit of a judder now and again. Notice the palms of the hands, maybe there's some energy leaking out there. So we're just going to do a body meditation now. So look at your legs and make sure they're as wide as your mat. Palms facing down, and the hands are quite far away from the body. So this one's called Kaya Kriya. If you find at any point that the movement is too much for the back, then the movement I give you for your toes to roll in as you inhale and to roll out as you exhale. Bend the knees, keep the feet nice and wide, and do that movement with the knees. So you inhale the knees in, exhale them back up again. It just helps to stabilize the sacrum. So bring your attention, so this one's called Kaya Kriya, and it translates as body meditation. So really focus on the hip and the heel. And if you imagine the hip is just like a ball, it's called a ball, a socket, and a ball and socket joint. So the top of the hip is a ball, and it's just rotating in the hip. So as you inhale, let the toes roll in. And as you exhale, let the toes roll out. Inhale, toes roll in. Exhale, toes roll out. Keep going. So you feel the movement all the way up into the hip. So we're now just sort of wringing out the fascia of the leg. Notice you might get a slight tremor when the toes are rolling in still. Just allowing energy to release from the muscles. Good. Now keep the toe rolling in as you inhale, let the palms roll up. Exhale, palms down, toes out. Feel the movement of the hands rolling up, traveling up into the shoulders. So the top of the arm bone is rotating in the shoulder socket. Good. Now when you're ready, keep the feet and hands going so that they should be in the opposite direction. So it requires a certain amount of dharana, which means concentration. It's one of the limbs of yoga. So it's the one just before meditation. And as you next inhale, let the head turn to one side. Exhale, let it turn the other way, and then slow the breathing down, slow the movements down. So now it's not mechanical. We're now focusing inwards on the body vehicle. Slow it down even more. Almost as if you're watching the body in slow motion. And the breath slows as well. It gets nice and long. And on the next exhalation, I want you to just stop all movement. Simply observe the natural breath. Be aware of any sensations that are arising from the stillness. And with those sensations, you might experience colour. You might experience memories, words, or maybe it's just a nice sensation. Whatever it is, just let it go. So you observe it from that place in the centre of the chest that we started with right at the beginning of class, the true self, the individual consciousness, the individual aspect of the greater whole. And as you observe from this place within you in the heart space, from the true self, I want you to experience fully from your physical sensations, emotional sensations, mental sensations, the following statements. So just observe how this body vehicle reacts. So the physical body, our emotions and our mind, our senses, the sensory equipment of this body is the ego. But I want you to view it from the place of awareness. So listen to the following statements. I have a body, but I am not just this body. I am the awareness that is observing this body. I am awareness. I have emotions, but I am not just these emotions. I am the one that is observing the emotions. I am the awareness. Noticing how emotions come and go, like a wave, and just let it go. I have thoughts, but I am not just my thoughts. I am the one that is aware of the thoughts. I am awareness. I am the ever-present awareness, observing the body vehicle as it experiences the human life. Be aware of yourself observing the physical vehicle and the emotions that come with this vehicle and the thoughts, just observing them, the sensations, the sounds, the texture of clothes, the sense of the floor beneath it, but observing it from a place of almost detachment. Noticing how it breathes and how the breath is not only oxygenating the body's system, so the breath is the fuel as well as food, but how it animates the voice. But it also brings in prana or chi, which is the universal life force. Let's just take 3 more really well-focused breaths. Experiencing each breath completely. And then I want you to imagine that the true self in the heart space is now just going to put on the seatbelt and get ready to drive the vehicle again. Wiggle the fingers and toes. Get ready to engage in life from a place of deeper awareness. Let the knees bend. Roll over to one side. Come back up to sitting. Bring the hands to the heart space. Acknowledge that driver. Inhale. And exhale back into the light at the heart space. And namaste. Thank you, everybody. So thank you for joining. And please, 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 please like, subscribe and share these classes to other people so they can benefit too. And if you want to work with me one-to-one, then contact me, Sarah O'Connor, uk@gmail.com, and I will put a link in below. So I work online and spend a good couple of hours working with you individually, developing a program that will help you. So anyway, stay in touch. See you soon. Bye.